So yes, on to page 2. We're soldering in these, well, not 8-word LEDs, but the 7 segments or 8 segment parts of the LEDs. So they are in the shape of an 8, hence they're using that, but they're basically 7 segments that we'll be soldering in now. And of course, you could, if you wanted, flood an area with flux and try and place and then solder, say, the whole digit worth of LEDs. But I find that sometimes the flux will dry up a little bit and you'll get not so great joints. So I just do maybe 3, maybe 4 at a time, if that, as a maximum, and then just work with that. So we're on to our big string of LEDs. And these apparently have the same feature. Yes, you can just about see one end's got a bit more green than the other. So let's just get a few of these out. I'm just going to make sure I've cleared away any of the other LEDs so I don't get these mistaken. I'm not going to pour out quite so many of these. I don't want to get too many and confuse myself, so we'll just take about a couple of inches worth, and then we can just start work. So I'm just going to try for 4 at a time. So again, we've got a square pad and a rounded pad, or octagonal, and you can see just a little tinge of green. I'll zoom in a bit more so you can see it a bit clearer. If I let go there, you can see the green on this. So of course you just want to be careful not only to get the orientation right, but also that these are the right color of LEDs, because these are a different color for the segments than for these outer ones. So we just got to be careful. Get them mixed up. You'd hate to get one in the wrong place. They're really fiddly, these. They're just so small. We get there in the end. Not very happy with that one. I think it's soldered all right. But didn't quite get that one positioned very well. That's just something you have to be mindful of. Now you may be wondering, why do I put flux on before placing the part, then after placing the part? It's because these parts are so light they stick to the tweezers if there's no flux. If you've got a bit of flux there, it just really helps. It gives it something to stick to the board with. And that'll be even more so if you use like a gel type flux. Whereas this flux is quite liquid. That's our first done, first digit done. It's just going to be more of the same. And our second digit done. And there we go. All done. Now we get to move on to the components on the other side of the circuit board. And the main reason why the instructions tell you to solder up all of these LEDs first is that these are all pretty much the same height, depending on how you've soldered them in. But they're all pretty much the same height. The circuit board will sit fairly steady underneath. But some of these components that are to go on this side of it are quite big, and others are very small. So if we soldered on all the components on this side, and then we're trying to solder these LEDs on, this would be very unsteady. So next up will be the components on this side of the circuit board.